गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीबॉडी. नमस्कार दोस्तों, कनाई वलकम, शुभ प्रभात. Today I am here in front of you to share things which is close to my heart. Today I would like to speak upon things which will definitely inspire the youth. I have my own podcast channel which is in the name of Youth Quake. It basically motivates people to go ahead with their dreams. My mantra for the podcast is discipline is greater than motivation. Motivation is at times something which can be temporary, but discipline is something which can be continued for a long time. And if someone wants to chase their dreams, want to work hard and fulfill their dreams, it is very important that they follow discipline. What if I told you that the moments that haunt us more is not the times when we fell, but those times when we don't even try? You must have thought of situations where you had the opportunity to do something, but due to fear or some situation, some circumstance, you stepped back. So if you try to analyze, I would like you all to go to a time where you were at the edge of any decision and you chose to step back or you moved ahead. Maybe for applying for a dream job or saying something what you always wanted to say. In those moments, did you step back or did you moved ahead and told? So if all this thing, what matters is that how you perceive life and what is your take in life. In all this, it is very important to have a very positive conversation with yourself, because most of the times what we have been told by our ancestors is that there is a fear of failure. So the communication which has passed since a long time from our ancestors is that there is a lot of fear in failure. You should avoid failure. But what I really believe is that failure teaches us a lot more than success, and we should never get into a feeling that we will not try because there is a possibility of failure. If we can recap situations like things wherein you had the option of moving ahead, but you chose to step back and did not fulfill your dreams, it always had the possibility of regretting in future. Regret is at the moment it can be temporary, but it has a very permanent effect. You at any point in time get an opportunity to do something, you should definitely go ahead. With this, I also can recall one personal story which might resonate with you. There was a time in the beginning of 2025 when my nephew was not well. He was suffering from blood cancer and he was just 3 years old, and I had the option of moving ahead with my profession, moving ahead with my professional commitments, and there was one option that I can go to him and take care of him. But at that point in time, although there was a situation that I was not able to reach out to him, and I was busy with my personal and professional commitments, so I was not able to go to him and take care of him. But after few days when I came to know that he is no more, so that feeling was with me for a very long time. It only has a feeling of regret. But although you will find situations where you will be compelled to follow your success, follow your activities which are important to you, but if you understand the point of regret in a practical manner, it was always important to follow your passion and what you wanted from your heart. So looking back at things, I always feel that it is very important to chase your dreams, to follow your heart, and not get into any situation where in future you can regret yourself. The story which I have told you is a personal ordeal which I gone through, but there would be similar stories which must have been with everybody. There are people who are in the political fraternity who has the opportunity to work for the public, and they also have that opportunity to do welfare for the society, or they have the option of going ahead with the crime of corruption. So it depends how they want to take forward their life and whether they want to regret or not. Most of the individuals look for temporary relief and temporary profits more than the larger welfare that one can promise from their work. Besides this, there are even creative side of work. There are people who are musicians, who are photographers, who are singers, artists, and whatnot. They have the ability to chase their dreams, to work on their skills, but due to social compulsion and due to things which are revolving in the society, they prefer the option of comfort and they prefer the option of something which is standardized. So if we can understand this thing traditionally, that whoever has followed their dreams, they have definitely been a happy person. So let's give an example of a woman who is there as a housewife for a very long time. They have worked hard for their children, for their husband, but they have never thought of their own wishes, their own priorities. So if you try to understand their situation, you will always find that there is something missing in their approach. There is something missing in their livelihood. If you ask anyone, any household who has done a lot for their family, if you ask them that whether they are happy, you will find only one answer, that they are not. Because somewhere down the line they have followed the path of being selfless, giving to their family, giving their time, their energy to their family, but never thought of what they want from life. In today's time, it is very important to understand what is our purpose of life. Time goes by, it so happens that many people have that ability to perform well, but things are in a very robotic manner in today's time. Suppose any corporate starts his journey in the corporate life, he or she will get into this vicious cycle of working day in and day out and not even trying to figure out what they really want from life. Because everybody is here to earn their bread and butter, but nobody is looking for the reason why they are in this universe. If somebody wants to do something good for themselves, then I don't think there can be only one reason of working hard and earning. There has to be something which comes from within. There has to be something which can be done even without earning money. So it is very important that the purpose of life is well understood by anybody. If it is not being done, if it is not being worked upon, then even after doing everything, even after earning a lot of money, even after having the entire wealth that the world can offer, still there is something which will remain missing in their life. I believe that the biggest problem lies with the way we converse with ourselves, how we talk to our emotions, how we discuss with us. So it brings to a larger point of self-talk. So I believe that if we can actually get into the feeling of self-conversation, it has to be very positive. It cannot be negative, because if we have a negative conversation with ourselves, then on a daily basis, whatever we want to meet our goals, we are not able to do that. Even if you look at the young generation in today's time, they are having the availability of technology and they are misusing it completely. Because if they are addicted to the social media or they are addicted to mobile phone, it is somewhere down the line hampering their personal life, professional life, and even their ability to perform in any area of interest. Look at our situation where 30-40 years back, the scene was such that there was no social media, there was no distractions which could be a reason of not chasing our dreams. Those were the times when people used to interact with each other more often. There were more meaningful relationship. There were more joy in their work which they used to do. But now the situation is such that after spending so much time through social media, the kids are not having the feeling of joy. You imagine the worst case scenario of any teenager who is into social media. The worst case scenario is a drug abuse, suicide, or any problem which is related to health. But the best case scenario is such that they don't feel any amount of joy even after doing whatever they want to do. The biggest problem is that they are spending so much time with technology that even if there is any amount of stress coming in their life, they are taking the help of technology rather than moving out to any partner or moving out to any friend. So in earlier times, it was so that if there was any problem with anybody, it was usually that they used to approach their friends or family members. But now they are avoiding that conversation because they are assuming that the family members or friends will not understand. And that is why they are moving to technology and social media. They are trying to explore solutions which are there in social media, which certainly cannot be helpful in the long run. If you start understanding this point, it is so normal to understand this thing that when any human being completes his graduation and completes his studies, they enter into the corporate world, and in the corporate world too, they are having an environment of profits. Any boss, any senior person is only concerned about profits, and they are not concerned about people. If you start taking care of your people, then they will take care of your profits. It is a simple thing to understand. But every senior person in any organization is only concerned about profits. They are not worried about the person who is taking care of their customers. If we can work on a situation where this chain can get right, from the top to the bottom, everybody can have a clear understanding that the top person will take care of their subordinates, the subordinates will take care of their next subordinate, and if the chain gets right, then definitely the person who is taking care of the customer, the person who is in the front line with the customer, they will be in a good position to solve their problems. I am so worried about the teenagers that how they are going to survive in future if they go ahead with this social media thing. So it is so tragic to see people who are 15 years old, 20 years old, they have stopped dreaming. Because when you start working in a corporate world, it so happens that you get into this robotic fashion of working day in and day out, doing the same monotonous work, and don't even try to figure out what they really want to do in life, and start then blaming themselves that they are not good enough to do something else. But I must tell anybody who is listening to me, that it is not your problem, it is not your skills which is a problem. The problem lies with the way we have been brought up. The problem lies with the education system. The problem lies with the people, the leaders who are there in the corporate world. The leaders are not good leaders. There is no training being given to the leaders that how you need to lead. You are always being trained for doing a job, but you are never being trained to lead. So it is very important for the youth to realize that it is not their mistake. They have that ability to do wonders. But what is disappointing is that the environment is created in such a negative manner that the difference between authority, power and leadership is not being understood properly. A leader is someone who will lead their team, but a powerful or an authoritarian person will always try to demean their subordinates, or will try to dominate on those people who are working within them. So if you start understanding the definition of power, it is always that the power is shown to how many people. The larger the population, the more power one understands for himself. But it is so important that when you are struggling, when you have taken the battle and you have reached to the top, it is so important that ordeal journey which you have went through should not be translated to the future generation. I am very much surprised that why this simple thing is not being understood by the senior people, the person in at the top, that if you have worked hard, if you have dealt with some problems within the culture, within the corporate culture, why is that you don't change? Why is that you can't break this barrier? Why is that you also get into the same mode and become more ruthless with your subordinates? You are not understanding one simple thing, is that there is a legacy which we need to produce after we die. And what legacy would you produce by harming someone? As a human being, it is very important that you stay human, you understand the problems of human, and you don't get into that power mode. It is so important that you understand the pain of the other person, and rather than dominating, you should support the other person to chase their dreams, to do things as per their potential. I often wonder why people are not given work as per their abilities. Even after working for 20, 30 years, still there is only one thing which anybody understands, is to become a slave. What is the happiness in being a slave? Do you get any kind of happiness? I really doubt. But there is definitely, the reason behind is that you fail to, you have a fear of failure, and that is why the slavery continues. Even if you start analyzing the potential of every individual in India, a population of 143 crores, if every individual start understanding their potential, they can do things by themselves and in a very dignified manner. It is just that the conversation that we have on a daily basis, it is so bad, it is so difficult to understand, that they stop chasing dreams, and they even think that they are nobody. They think that they can't do things which they are meant to do. As an individual, I always believe that if you have taken birth in this universe, you are someone who can change the dynamics of the society. Because it is so normal that if you were not supposed to change the dynamics, why would have you taken birth as a human being? My podcast channel is Youthquake, and Youthquake is a channel which was created for having a mantra that discipline is greater than motivation. I have message for everybody related to this particular point of discipline. If we start understanding the stakeholder, like the family members or the corporate world, or if we go ahead and start understanding the entire gimmick of corporate, so discipline is something which is not followed by everybody. For a corporate, it is very important that the employees who are working, they need to have faith in themselves, and they should not be a slave. So it is very important that how we behave within the family, because as a family member, every child is required to be treated as respectful. But what happens is that we normally compare them with other kids, with other siblings, and that comparison somewhere down the line breaks their motivation, their confidence. So it is important for the parents to understand that no comparison will help any child. Secondly, for the corporate, it is very important that you have a very humanly behavior with your employees. Thirdly, if you start understanding, if the government can understand that the public has voted for you, and it is their duty to take care of them and remove corruption completely. For the entire society to progress, it is very important that we all work together. And secondly, it is important that if as a society we want to fulfill our dreams, the conversation that we have with ourselves has to be very positive. If I talk about my real motivation towards work, it is all about having a generous feeling and making people happy. At the end, I want to conclude by saying that you being the change maker, the teenagers, you are the youth, and what has been made as a mistake in the past should not be continued. And since you are the change makers, you are going to represent the corporate, you are going to represent the government, and you are going to be a parent in future. So the mistakes which has been done in the past should not be repeated, and you should start working upon yourself. You should have a self talk to be positive, and the discipline should be very good, and even you should have a very strong mindset at all times. This will help you to chase your dreams. And finally, what I want to put across to everybody are the major problems that currently we are facing with. The problems are unemployment, self-talk, confidence, fear, education, politics with corporate job, underemployment, lack of discipline and motivation in youth, social media addiction in kids and teens, schools in India, lack of opportunity giving to talent and skillful people, men after working not chasing their dreams. Purpose of life is not recognized, inflation, informal economy, insufficient infrastructure, internet access, underemployment, digital literacy, schools in India is not up to the mark, freedom for girls, drug abuse, poverty, income inequality, donation in spirituality, old age people loneliness, water crisis, malnutrition, air pollution, gender inequality, Muslim population not getting education, corruption, bureaucratic delays, legal issues, voting very less, malnutrition. So the problems which I have just put across, the reason why I have put across these problems are the problems which are going on since a long time, and it is us who can bring the change, who can remove these problems. So we as a team has to work hard. You are the change makers. My simple request to you is that follow your dreams, chase your passion, and be disciplined, and stay away from technology, social media, so that you can follow your heart. Suprabhat, Kalai Vanakam. Thank you.